Good afternoon, guys. I'm here in beautiful, sunny Ethiopia. Look at this. Amazing. Ominous, isn't it? Anyways, so my group is doing our project on adaptability, so I figure the best way to start is with a definition for adaptability. The textbook definition of adaptability, in the professional world at least, is the ability to maintain effectiveness when experiencing major changes in work tasks or the work environment. It's adjusting effectively to work within your new work structures, processes, requirements, or cultures. As you can summarize from that definition, adaptability is extremely valuable and especially for our generation because the world changes so quickly. I mean, right now, we're in an epidemic, we're in a pandemic, we're quarantined, we're taking online classes, and we're changing how we interact with people on the daily basis, like social distancing and everything like that. We're literally being forced to learn how to adapt. This project over here is going to focus on individual, group, and organizational adaptability. But I'm going to give you a cute little summary about everything that we're covering. So individual adaptability means that you're able to respond to change in terms of trends, innovation, destabilization effectively. According to a Forbes article, an adaptable person tends to be experimental, he tends to be positive, quick thinking, resourceful, he tends to take responsibility for his own actions. If after hearing that you're like, that's not really me, it's fine. You can always change the fact that you're not good at it. Any other soft skill, it's just about hard work. So you can change your thought process. You can force yourself to take more risks. You can embrace learning new things. Just get yourself out there. Let's broaden the scope a little bit and talk about group adaptability. This is a pretty easy concept to grasp because we're IE students, we got group projects galore. So we all know what it feels like to be used to working with one set of people and then in a different class just be displaced and put in a completely different group of people. And in that situation, the most important thing to keep in mind is that you'll probably have different ideas and opinions than your group members. Finally, let's get into organizational adaptability, which is done through change management. So as you guys know, companies need to be able to adapt to different markets and customer needs. If not, customers will just move on to another company. So it's extremely important for companies to be able to adapt. My group mates will talk about all of this and more in depth. So sit back, relax, get some popcorn, enjoy the presentation.
Now we're going to talk about forces of change. As you may know, people are dynamic, and this is exactly why we, people, are the hardest thing to change. As individuals, we all have our own values, attitudes, and beliefs that we stand up for. And sometimes, almost all of the time, we want things our way. And this is exactly why change can sometimes be a little bit challenging. But the reality is that change is always happening, even more in our modern society. Change is basically always present. This means that us as individuals, we need to learn how to work and cope with change. To just not fear it, but accept it and change to succeed. But what exactly causes these changes? Let's talk about it. First, we have social forces of change, when basically social pressures can make individuals or organizations change, just to fit in society and feel accepted. Then we have the technological forces of change. We live in a society of constant innovation and creation. Technology has changed how individuals act in social and professional environment. This is a very recent, yet drastic change. The third force of change is a demographic change. A change in demographics might require an individual to change the culture they live in. The best example was in the 1960s. There was a drastic demographic change. It was when great numbers of women started entering the workforce. Last but not least, the economic change. Economic disasters can make organizations and individuals change. Let's talk about the world right now. Individuals had to drastically change their current routine to stay home and be socially distant. One has to be adaptable and flexible to accept this change and learn to live with these temporary restrictions.
Now I am going to talk about the different type of changes. There are two, if it is planned or unplanned, or if it is evolutionary or revolutionary. In the professional perspective, planned changes are the changes when the individually consciously effort to change in response to a specific problem. However, unplanned changes are the ones that occur randomly, spontaneously, and the individual doesn't have any specific intention to address this problem. For example, we are going to use, for instance, unemployment. Imagine that I am a student, I don't need to work right now, but I want to find a job so I can get extra money. In this case, it's a conscious decision that I made, a personal decision to look for a job. But what happened if I had a job and suddenly I am fired? In this case, I didn't want to look for another job, but because I am fired, I am forced to do it. You could see that in the first one was a personal decision, and in the second one I was more forced to do it. This is the differences between planned and unplanned. Both of them are addressing the unemployment problem. However, there are two different perspectives. One because it's my personal decision, and the other one because I had to do it. Now, I'm going to talk about the distinction between evolutionary and revolutionary. What is an evolutionary change, first of all? An evolutionary change, as the name indicates, is an evolution, a change that is gradually and incremental. There are some times that you don't even notice these changes. For example, introduction of technology. It's not something that from the day to the other radically changed our life. No, we have been adapting to these new changes little by little. And what are revolutionary changes? As the name indicates, it's like a revolution. This means that there are changes that happen quickly and unexpected. An example, it could be the coronavirus. From one day to another, we radically change our routine, way of interacting, way of doing everything. This is a revolutionary change, something that we don't have time to adapt or even think about it. It's something that happened and we have to make quickly changes in our lives. Evolutionary and revolutionary changes could be planned or unplanned. Be aware that normally we try to associate revolutionary changes with unplanned decisions and evolutionary changes with planned decisions. However, this could be the other way around. I'm going to use the example of two films, The Crowds and Hector and the Search for Happiness. The Crowds is a caveman family that lives in strict norms in order to survive. However, this rule will change when their cave is destroyed due to an earthquake. They will be on an adventurous journey to find a secure place to live. The other one, Hector, is a psychiatrist with a routinary life, but he thinks that it's a fraud since he does not help his patients. He decided to travel the world to know what is the formula to be happy. In the film Hector and the Search for Happiness, we could see that Hector make a planned decision to travel the world. However, this is a revolutionary change since he's going to face during his trip different elements that he didn't expect it to happen. In the film The Crowds, we have an unplanned decision since they did not expect that their cave is going to be destroyed by an earthquake. However, it is an evolutionary change since little by little they are adapting to the new challenges.
Hi, do you want to try these chips? They are new. A new one? I don't know. This is totally unknown for me. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. Okay guys, for the new project of our company, you are going to work in different teams. What? Why? I don't understand it. I have been working with Pepe for so long. I mean, he's my friend, and I don't know if I can work with her. I mean, I don't trust her. What? Yep. The scenes we have seen now are actually very familiar to us. Now, I'm gonna explain what resistance to change is. We can define a situation as an action taken by individuals or groups when they perceive that a change that is occurring is a threat to them. There are three important types of change: group change, individual change, and organizational change. But now, I'm gonna focus on resistance to individual change. There are many reasons that explain this behavior. To explain them, I'm gonna use the example of the film The Croods. We can see at the beginning of the film that this family has very defined habits. Let's see it.
Most days we spend in our cave, in the dark. Night after night, day after day. Yep, home sweet home. And the Croods, that's us. The Croods made it because of my dad. He was strong, and he followed the rules. The ones painted on the cave walls. Anything new is bad, curiosity is bad, going out at night is bad, basically anything fun is bad. Welcome to my world. But this is a story about how all that changed in an instant. Because what we didn't know was that our world was about to come to an end. And there were no rules on our cave walls to prepare us for that.
So, I hope you have enjoyed this scene. So, what we can learn from it is that this family is always following the rules imposed by the father, Rob. And every change and new situation is completely banned. Here, we can see a climate of mistrust for basically everything. Group's philosophy is, fear is good, change is bad. The reasons why the overprotected father is so strict is because he fears so much the consequences of change and losing his family. So he struggles a lot with changes and his new reality. The rest of the family, except for the daughter, also resist a lot to change, but just because they follow the behavior of the father. So there's also inertia from the group. But resisting to the inevitable causes them more pain than dealing with the fear that sometimes arises when attempting new things. Yeah? In conclusion, things will change, even if we don't want it to change. If it happens, learn to let go. Don't put your energy in resisting this inevitable. Now, I'm gonna explain you how to encourage this change. So, we continue with the film.
I can help you, but we're gonna have to make a few changes around here. The log ride is over. Drop the log.
Really?
Okay, smart guy. Now what?
Okay, now you can look.
They're still there! Okay.
No, 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 no!
There is a very important question here. How did Groot, the father, manage to go throughout the most important change of his life successfully? We can learn a lot of tactics from this film that can help us to manage change. Here are some of them. We can see that it is really effective to transmit information and educate others. Support requires listening to others' ideas and giving advices. Participation. People who participate in change is less likely to resist it. We can see in the scene that we have seen before that all the family is adapting well to the changes. except the father. And they even have fun with it. Also, negotiation and agreement. This consists of recognizing the role of power of others, in this case, the new role of leader of boy. This way of dealing with changes can be sometimes slow and disturbing. For example, in the film, the father completely opposes to boys' ideas, and it takes him a lot of time to actually accept them. In the last part of the film, we can see the reinforcement part, when Gru finally accepts the change and decided not to revert back to old way of doing things, but to explore new opportunities to adapt to the new world. Let's see it.
I have an idea!
All these tactics and ideas to overcome change help the family to lose fear, be curious, improve confidence, look at things from a different perspective, and help them to grow and learn new things that were completely unknown for them.
So during this presentation, we saw that the need for individual and personal adaptability, has never been greater than it's now. Why? Because, well, simply it's because this specific process of adaptation is driven by individuals who are willing and able to adapt to a leader's directives. And now, like, you may ask yourself on what an adaptable person looks like in real life, because okay, it's important to know that adaptability is a crucial element in our lives now, but it's better to know how to be one. Well, an adaptable person sees opportunities where others see failures. And the second point is that people that are adaptable open their minds. Why? Because if you're not willing to listen to others' point of view, you're gonna be limited in your thinking, which is gonna lead you to be limited in your adaptability. So the more context you have, the more adaptability you're gonna have to. So applying what I just said to the movie, we see that all along his adventure, the caveman dealt with many changes, and we saw that in his capacity to adapt to a new environment, even if in the beginning he found many struggles and didn't accept the reality. And according to me, the moral of the story is to show how useless it is to stick to what we know and what we have when the world around us is changing so quickly and so rapidly. So the last thing that I want to say for this presentation is that okay, I've watched the movie like 5 or 6 times with my brothers, and I took some takeaways from it, and I'm gonna list them on the slide behind me so that you can like read them properly. The first one is that the curiosity helps us discover new possibilities, which may be better than what we think we have. And the second one is adapting to change is how you are going to survive in life. So we can even like compare it to what's happening now. Like we all are adapting to new methods of having classes and stuff. The third one is that stepping outside the comfort zone is good for us, since sticking to what we know and the environments we live in may not last forever. Also now the example of online classes. And the last one is that we have to be brave, even if we have to jump into the unknown. That's what I said previously. I said that some people are afraid of doing new things, and they only see failures, and that's why this takeaway is one of the most important. Thank you.
Thank you for watching, and we hope that you have enjoyed our video.